Hey friends, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we are going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein once again. But before we do that, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com to get all of our latest content. I need to update it a little bit, but generally this is up to date. Follow us via our RSS feed right here. Follow us on Minds. Follow us on Steemit. You can join our Discord channel for chatting and talking with other people. I do highly recommend signing up for the text list right here, this little blue cloud, the Remind text list. It's the easiest way to make sure you get updates on our work. Follow us, of course, on YouTube. And if you want to support extra, go to patreon.com/Derrick Broze. And then down here, if you want to get a free ounce of Kratom, maybe get some CBD, whatever, check it out from My Brave Botanicals. They are our partner that we've been working with, and that helps support my work as well. So, just a couple of days ago, reports start popping up. Appeals court orders potentially explosive documents and Jeffrey Epstein case be unsealed. This is coming from the New York Daily News, which they didn't do that great of a job of going deep into it. But I did find this one from Courthouse News, which is a good website for, court cases and things of that sort. Court orders sunlight on huge tranche of Jeffrey Epstein files. More than a decade after his child sex abuse case shocked the nation, the extraordinary light sentence given to politically connected Jeffrey Epstein continues to embarrass multiple presidents, a prince, and a powerful lawyer. On Wednesday, that's Wednesday of this week, the Second Circuit Court ordered sunlight for nearly 2,000 pages of files related to the wealthy tycoon and dozens of girls whose assault he claims he buried with an expensive plea deal. Now, I'm not going to sit here and rehash everything on Epstein. If you guys have followed my work, you've seen the dozens of videos I've put out now since 2017, including our documentary Bringing Down Jeffrey Epstein, and all the different pieces of the puzzle that I've tried to uncover here. So you, more than likely, if you're watching this, you know the story of Epstein. If not, I recommend at the very least go back and watch our documentary. It's only 25 minutes long. And then check out the cutting room floor to see what I didn't include in there. And then maybe just make your way through the rest of these reports, and you can find out more about Epstein and his Trump connection, the Epstein, Dershowitz, and Spacey connection, the evidence for Jeffrey Epstein's Mossad connection, and his connection to Les Wexner of Victoria's Secret, and that he's building a new island. There's lots of details here. And while all that's going on, there have been lawsuits taking place for the last decade as people are trying to put this man behind bars, or at the least find out what exactly did take place, what he's accused of, and why he got such a sweetheart deal. Now, there's two cases going on right now. This Wednesday case, it deals with one of his victims. Her name is, Victoria Gouffre. I don't know how to say her last name exactly, but she is one of the victims, one of many victims of Jeffrey Epstein. She's actually been filing suit now for years, trying to bring to justice not only Epstein, Gouffre, but not only Jeffrey Epstein, but his partner in crime, Jill Zane Maxwell, who was his girlfriend / madam who would recruit young girls into this. So you have this ongoing case where one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Jill Zane Maxwell, Virginia Gouffre, who is suing Epstein's associate Jill Zane Maxwell, accusing her of turning her into a sex slave and passing her off as a minor to Prince Andrew and trafficking her to Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. Of course, both men deny any of those allegations. So that's one case that's going on, and it's in that case that a judge on Wednesday, a panel of judges, ordered sunlight for nearly 2,000 pages of files related to the wealthy tycoon and dozens of girls who claim that, he assaulted them and that it's being covered up. So you have that case, right? And this is an update after U.S. District Judge Robert Sweet basically said that the public should have access to these documents, and that it could, quote, promote scandal arising out of unproven, potentially libelous statements. Because this is an important thing to note, is that these are court documents, right? They're information that has been accusations that were sealed as part of a court case. And so because they're coming from a court, there are those who might give it a little bit of credibility, whether or not it deserves that. And that's what the judges were saying. And, that is an important point. But there's a reason that so many people have fought to keep this information secret. Now, simultaneously, while this is going on, Epstein's case is also potentially, going to be up for prosecution again, because in February, federal judge Kenneth Mara ruled that Alexander Acosta, Trump's current labor secretary, who was the lawyer involved in the whole original case in Palm Beach County, who helped get Epstein this sweetheart deal. The federal judge ruled that Acosta illegally withheld the plea deal from more than 30 of Epstein's underage victims, saying, quote, Epstein used paid employees to find and bring minor girls to him. Epstein worked in concert with others to obtain minors, not only for his own sexual gratification, but also for the sexual gratification of others. The Florida judge is preparing to decide what, if any, penalty the government should face for violating the Crimes Victims' Rights Act. So those are two things going on right now. One of the judges, after ruling that Epstein was, given an illegal sweetheart deal, is going to decide what to do. If he punishes them in some way, or if he says, okay, well, we're going to vacate the original agreement from Epstein, and now Epstein is liable for further charges if there is a district attorney willing to prosecute him. And it probably would have to happen either in Florida or New Mexico, because New York is highly controlled. So that's going on, and at the same time, one of Epstein's victims is suing his madam, his partner in crime, Ghislaine Maxwell, which we've talked about in these videos. When you go look at the Epstein-Mossad connection, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, some people believe he was the connection to the Mossad. So the interesting thing, though, is that the courts are preparing. They're acknowledging that they're going to be releasing some, pretty important documents here. And so they are, this is the court documents right here. Brown versus Maxwell, Dershowitz versus Gouffre. August 2018 is when it started. Julie Brown of the Miami Herald Company versus Ghislaine Maxwell, with Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Gouffre. So you see this case that's been ongoing. Of course, you also got Alan Dershowitz, Mike Cernovich, and others involved in this case. There's a lot of people trying to get this information. And you can read the whole original document. This is the statements from all the judges, but I just want to show you this one piece here. The judges say, we have long noted that the press plays a vital role in ensuring the public right of access and enhancing the, quote, quality and safeguards of the integrity of the fact-finding process. When faithfully observing its best traditions, the print and electronic media contribute to public understanding of the rule of law and validate its claims as functioning as surrogates for the public. At the same time, the media does the public a profound disservice when it reports on parties' allegations uncritically. We have previously observed that courts cannot possibly, quote, discredit every statement or document turned up in the course of litigation, and we have criticized the, quote, use by the media of the somewhat misleading term court records in referring to such items. So again, they're saying, although these are documents that are in the possession of the court, they're simply accusations from Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Now, in this case, we have pretty clear evidence that these things did happen, that there are hundreds of victims of Epstein's. But generally speaking, what they're saying is true, is that just because it's a document from court doesn't make it factual. Even ordinarily critical readers may take the reference to court papers as some sort of marker of reliability. This would be a mistake. We therefore urge the media to exercise restraint in covering potentially defamatory allegations, and we caution the public to read such accounts with discernment. So the reason they put that in there is because these documents are going to reveal all kinds of connections from Epstein, potentially Trump, potentially other celebrities. We know that, of course, Epstein was connected to Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Woody Allen, President Trump, and Dershowitz, among many, many others. And this court case is going to be the very beginning of releasing all of these files. And, unfortunately, this is going to take a long time. Andrew Selly, who is Dershowitz's attorney, says, we're pleased that after nearly 3 years of litigation, the court files have been opened up as they always should have been. The First Amendment and our trust in the judicial system requires nothing less. So Dershowitz still thinks that this is going to exonerate him of any involvement in this. The attorney for Mike Cernovich says, frankly, I don't think there are many press outlets that couldn't be accused of doing the same thing as far as the whole journalism lecture that the court gave. And at the same time, we have to recognize that this is going to take a long time. This is not going to just happen tomorrow. Although this ruling just came out now, we have to realize that this is going to be a pretty long process. As Courthouse News notes, this is a lengthy process for unsealing the files. The Second Circuit itself plans to unseal a summary judgment record. So they're going to give a summary first. Then another judge will take over the role of carefully unsealing the remainder of the files. This is a very important first step, says David Boyes, Gaffrey's lawyer. A very important step towards making the information that the court has available to the public, but it's only a first step. So it's going to be a while, I think, before we get to the bottom of this. But this just shows you that we're not at the bottom of the Epstein saga. I advise you to look through this and kind of get a summary of what the court said and their background on this whole case. If you want to get more into it, I do recommend checking out our Epstein videos on the website, on the YouTube channel, and we have them on the website as well. If you go here and search Epstein, you will find them there. And I think it's probably going to be time to do a Bringing Down Jeffrey Epstein Part 2 by 2020, because there's plenty of updates that have happened. I've got interviews with Bradley Edwards, the attorney. We've got other kind of rabbit holes to go down. Jeffrey Epstein's building a new island. Jeffrey Epstein's files might be released soon. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and we shouldn't just ignore it. We should definitely stay on this case. I'm going to stay on this case, and hopefully you guys find it valuable, and we'll share this video. And we'll share the website, theconsciousresistance.com. And we'll share all our social media channels. And if you want to go share the Epstein documentary, I do appreciate it. It took us a good while to work on that. I'm very proud of how it came out. And it seems to have done well with people. People are interested in it. People are interested in the Epstein thing. We broke that story. This came out November 1st. This came out before the Miami Herald story, by the way. The Miami Herald gets all the credit. If you read these articles, people always say, well, the Miami Herald, the Epstein case has received new scrutiny following a Miami Herald investigation that revived questions. Yeah, well, some of us were already asking the questions. We never stopped asking the questions. Maybe in the mainstream. Like, I'm glad Julie Brown and Miami Herald did the story because it was a good investigation, and they did interview some original victims in the case, and it did get more light into the mainstream. But don't forget who was covering this a whole month before that happened, and even a couple of years before that. But our documentary exposing this, and specifically looking at Alexander Acosta's role in this thing, came out before that investigation ever happened. Just want to make a note of that, because if you do stay plugged into theconsciousresistance.com, I promise you, you're going to be aware of what's going on before other channels and before other content creators, because I've got my finger to the pulse, as they say, and we're covering important issues here. We have videos coming out on Nexium. My Nexium deep dive is coming up. We have a video coming out on Stanley Marsh 3, which I've never seen anybody do a video on, and I'm going to do that. And we've got more mini documentaries coming up. We're going to get back to live shows every Friday. I might do one tonight. We'll see. But so stay tuned. Lots of exciting things coming your way. And thank you to everybody who supports us for $1, $5, whatever you support us with, or those who support with shares. It's all helpful. It's all valuable and very much appreciated. And until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free, my friends. Peace.